Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, depending on the place of the world where you will be seeing this new podcast. This from One Coffee with Cabana, sponsored by the German Jewish Museum in Santiago, Chile. And you can see behind me, I am in Charles University, Prague, Czech Republic. And I came here because I have a very interesting guest, which I would like to talk. I have been in meetings with Suchibrata Roy, working at this university. She's a doctor and she will go into those details, those important details. But we have a really nice and interesting program talking about backpacking diplomacy because she did that. And this is the case study of Israel backpackers in Himachal Pradesh, India. So, and we will go deeper into details about this program, this diplomacy. So, welcome to the podcast, Suchibrata. Hello.
Thank you so much, Roberto. It was really great, and I'm privileged to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Very good. So we'll go into details because I know you were born in India, right?
Yeah, I was born in Eastern India, a town near Calcutta, and I spent my formative years in Calcutta and the suburb, and then I moved to Delhi.
And how someone who was born in Calcutta moved to Delhi one day, you woke up and say, maybe I do something about backpacking diplomacy. And I want to study these Israeli people coming to India. How did you find this?
It was a long story. I was actually, I'm a traveler. I travel a lot. So most of the time I travel to different places in India and abroad for my work and, for my curiosity. So especially I travel a lot of in mountain areas. So I found that there are a lot of Israelis are there in small villages in Himachal Pradesh, which is northern part of India, Himalayas range. So I found that there are a lot of villages, specifically 3-4 villages, that's called Israeli hubs. And in general, people do not have much idea about that this Israeli hubs, but it has been. So I started thinking of, because I was doing my PhD that time, so started thinking. It was kind of the interest. I thought of like what is this? What's going on here? And gradually I started investigating and I started doing my research, and I found that it is not a new trend. It has been a kind of 3 decades of the more than 30 to 50,000 Israelis comes every day to India, specifically those areas. So, and quite fascinating when I went there, because I was doing ethnographic research. So I lived there. I was continuously observing them, the local villagers and Israelis. So when I was thinking of what it is exactly, so I was thinking how it could be a part of a research which comes into international relations, because my background is international relations. And I started reading literatures, and I found that all the literatures are talking about only tourism, and they're all tourism perspective. But I found that it's not mere tourism; it's beyond something. And my journey started, and finally I landed with a new terminology, which is a subsection of public diplomacy. It's a people-to-people diplomacy. I call it backpacking diplomacy. And
So this is how you started.
That's why it started my journey.
Yeah. So you started because of curiosity about, these guys moving to this place And just to tell the audience, because when we talk about the Himachal Pradesh, most of the people will not know. I know it's near the Himalayas, so we are talking about the northern part of India, is that right?
Yeah, it's a northern part of northern India, northern India's mountain area. It's specifically the province, one of the province of India. It's called Himachal Pradesh, and this there are few villages. I'm not saying that the entire Himachal Pradesh is it become Israeli hubs, but there are few remote villages. Now they have become very touristic and very progressive village. It's one of the it's Kasol, Parvati in Parvati valleys, and Dharamkot, and these places are Manali. These places are full of Israeli travelers, and everything you will find there. It's written in Hebrew, and restaurant they serve Israeli cuisine. People are talking in Hebrew languages. You will find synagogue. You will find Chabad house, not synagogue, Chabad house, and Jewish houses. There are many Jewish organization, NGO. They are working there, and I'll tell after some time when, because there are a lot of activities happens, like it's from Israeli group of people. They are working there, and since silently nobody knows about them so much, but they're working for the community, local community. They're offering different courses. They organize workshops. A lot of things they do.
So, which is the significance of your study? How did you identify these interactions and motivations between local villagers and Israeli? Because as you mentioned just recently, uh, the progress that this province is looking is because of these guys going there.
Um, I mean, you want to say what is the significance of this study and
Yes.
how I identify the
Uh,
interactions and motivations
yeah.
between these two people, right?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, well, this study is significant because it fills a major gap in our understanding of the large scale interactions between Israeli backpackers and local villagers, a phenomenon that has been happening for decades. While we have known for a long time that approximately 30,000 to 50,000 of Israelis visit this region annually. However, there hasn't been any systematic scholarly engagement to analyze this interaction in depth. And what makes this study particularly important is that Himachal Pradesh, especially places like I said, Kasol, Dharamkot, host the highest concentration of Israeli backpackers on the subcontinent. And this is not just a passing trend, it's been happening for over 3 decades and has reached a point of stability. However, tourism models alone don't fully explain the dynamics of what happens here, which led me to investigate, which I told you that interaction from a public diplomacy perspective. In terms of how I identified thematic interactions and motivation, I began by recognizing that the relationship between Israeli backpackers and local villagers go beyond simple economic transaction. The interactions reflect a deeper form of people to people diplomacy, which involves power dynamics and cultural exchanges that are important in diplomatic studies. And Israel and India have been developing strong bilateral relations, including military and economic partnerships. But the field of informal people to people interactions has largely been ignored in research literature. By interviewing both backpackers and local, I was able to identify key themes such as mutual trust, reciprocity, and the development of a shared community. And also recurring themes such as the need for spiritual retreat and healing among Israelis after army service, and the economic dependence of local communities on this constant influx of Israeli travelers. And these relationships have fostered positive mutual perception. And these interactions are not just about tourism, they are part of a larger unofficial diplomatic exchange that has not been sufficiently addressed before. And my study provides a framework to understand this people to people relation within the broader context of India Israel diplomacy, linking the long standing presence of Israeli backpackers to the potential for deeper cultural and diplomatic connections between the two countries.
And if we are talking about 30 years period, the time of guys, Israeli backpackers going there, do you have you seen? I mean, any difference between what was going on? I mean, let's say 10 years ago and what's going on today on the economy and on the villages. Is there any changes there? Are there any changes there?
If I can say like 20 years before, those villages were very small, remote villages, and it's not very famous, popular site. These are very remote and interior, higher altitude, located in higher altitude. So general tourists normally do not go there, but because so after and their economic only they only dependent on tourism because the people not that much literate there, so they do not have such kind of work which they can do. So tourism is one of the resources for their economy. And since Israelis started coming there, they have economically dependent on Israelis, because I want to say that Israeli travelers are not similar like general travelers. Israelis are very unique. They come for not for 15 days or 1 month. They come there for longer period of time, because in general people come very young youth. In their early 20s, they just finished their army service and they just want to come. So they come for longer period of time, like 2 months, 5 months, and 9 months, and then again they renew their visa, and then again they stay there. So they live with the villagers at their home. So it's a longer period of time they are getting. Mostly these villagers, they rent out their home, so people live with them. So it's not like that. So they have become economically stable through their regular client, like Israeli clients. So economically they are become more stable. They have now a lot of restaurants, so because they come here, they eat food, and also the bond this Israelis and in this local becomes so strong. So if you go there in some place called Kasol, you will find the period when Israelis are not there, restaurants are closed. So all the restaurants are only open when Israelis are here. So I asked one of the villager that why this close and when it will be open. So they said now the people of the shop owner, restaurant owner, they are with Israelis towards Goa, because Israelis normally in winter time, they from December onwards they go to the Western India, Goa, the sea beach, mostly go there. So these people also travel with Israeli travelers and open their shops there. And when Israelis again come back to Himachal, they will come back with Israelis. So you understand what kind of mutual trust they have. So this villages now become very famous and popular, because other people of five-star hotel, Hyatt Regency also opened their chains. Now there are a lot of hotels and a lot of restaurants. People visit there. So these are the changes.
So just because of the Israeli backpackers going there, this big change
Yes, yes,
move
yes.
over there. So
Even
that is a big change. that is a big change in the economy there, because I mean, if they were not going there, I mean, no one was thinking about, driving or going 500 kilometers north of Delhi. Is that right?
Yes, and it is actually Israelis, the popularity of those places actually created by Israelis traveler. Because of them, the footfalls have grown like a lot of footfalls there, and that's why people started knowing about these things. Now Indian tourists also visiting those places to see Israeli travelers, that if they are coming all the way from Israel and staying here, then let's see what are things are there,
Yeah,
what we can see. So
makes sense.
even villages also said that, not government but Israelis actually helped us to grow our economy.
So, maybe from this show, I mean, which are the cities? I mean, we will invite people to go there just because of the curiosity, because we have many viewers around the world. Which are the names of the cities, of the village?
It's Kasol, Manali, and Dharamkot. Uh,
So we
these
need to
are
remember that. So we need to remember those cities which we need to, shout loud. Go to those when you come to India. Go to those villages, because you will see. I mean, a combination between Israel and India. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, these are very small cities, but see, all Israelis know this city because even Indians know less, but Israelis know much more better.
Yep. I'm inviting other people from other countries. So I mean,
Yeah,
after this show, if I mean, you need to tell the authorities in India. I mean, after the show, maybe you will see more people going there. Anyway, why in your study, why do you think Israelis went to this Himalayan region of India? Because I mean, India is so big. Why did they choose that one? And that is in your study.
I mean, why they actually that's a very that's always everybody asks this question that
Yes.
why so many Israelis flock to the Himalayan region of India.
Yeah. Why?
There are several reasons why it has become to go-to destination for young, especially young Israelis, especially after their army service. One of the main factor is the need to decompress after the intense and often stressful experience that come with serving in the army service. And many of these young people are looking for a place where they can unwind, reflect, and sometimes heal from the emotional or psychological toll of their army experience. And I know India offers an incredible combination of factors, and there are a lot of factors which appeal to them. But first, first, why India, and then Himachal? First, it is incredibly affordable, making it ideal for young travelers on a budget. But beyond the cost, what I have understood and from the Israeli, from young Israelis and also other people, that India provides a sense of freedom that's very hard to find elsewhere. The open, non judgmental environment allows them to explore everything from spirituality and self reflection to unconventional lifestyles and adventures they might not feel comfortable trying back home. And areas, particularly in Himachal, which is a fantastic mountain Himalayas range, the peaceful, like Parvati Valley and villages like such as all small villages, less crowd, simple people like Kasol, Dharamkot, Old Manali. These all places like these are the major hubs for Israelis, and these places feel kind of familiar. You will see why they go always because they find it's kind of their second home. it's very known to them. Apart from the natural nature beauty, it's they feel that is this is their that's very everything is very familiar. They feel secure, safe, and because you will see signs in Hebrew, restaurants are offering in Israeli cuisine, even Chabad, Jewish houses where they can go and celebrate Shabbat, do connect with fellow Israelis. It's like a home away home,
Okay,
and they can connect with fellow Israelis while still being immersed in a completely different culture.
good. And
So
and uh, and I have another question. What was the most difficult of the different things, the most difficult things that you found while you were doing all this research?
mm,
I know you
I
went
mean,
to Israel.
you were saying about my difficulties, like.
Yes, I mean because I read your whole diplomacy and your whole book, guys. It's almost 200 pages with all the details about how Suchi found. All this relationship. So when you started doing this one, any difficulties in finding the information, or everything was very smooth?
Difficulties was everything was it was kind of finding a needle from the haystack.
Ah,
So no, because I was about to start my field research and I was doing my field research, and that time it was difficult because first problem is India is big, and it doesn't mean that you are Indian, so it's very easy to get access in some Indian villages. It's not. They for them I'm a stranger, I'm an outsider. They trust Israelis rather than me.
wow.
Yes, of course, because Israelis are close to them, not I. I am an outsider. So it's first of all you don't I did not know that from where to start. So I did a lot of networking. I did kind of I contacted there are a lot of many Facebook pages, travel with Meron, it's Jewish, and my Jewish friends, they also helped me to connect with different groups because many people they did not know English. So I connected through, and I really got a lot of help through online. And then I made connections. I built rapport with my friends and Israeli interviewee, and they connected me with their group. So I connected with a group which has 40,000 travelers member, and then I connected with many people, and then I started going there, living that in that village. But it was very difficult journey from being a woman and solo traveler from India, from Delhi to go to that place, overnight journey going by bus. So it was kind of point of security concern. However, I did manage everything, and I got a lot of help from my interviewees because they all tried to connect me with different people. So I got a lot of stories, and then they also introduced me with the local villagers. So it's kind of a complete web of connections.
Okay, and let me do my last question. What was your final conclusion after this research and after you present this to as a diplomacy? And the last sentence of your diplomacy,
Uh, that
your conclusion, your the end of the study. What was? I want to say that. It was beneficial, and and you have something to say about this one.
See, I say that this people to people diplomacy or this kind of informal interaction or backpacking diplomacy creates a positive image of that country. Like it happened here, the form of informal interaction has created a positive image of not only Israeli but Israel, and it's become it's fostering mutual respect and admiration, and which plays a crucial role in people to people diplomacy. And I find that backpacking diplomacy, it's a good and beneficial for fostering mutual understanding, admiration. And also I find that it is a very intercultural communication. It's always helpful for diplomatic perspectives. Even for just last point, I wanted to say, like, if you go back and if you see the history, the youth hostel movement which happened in Europe, and which led to the integration of European Union after World War II. So that is also one of the
it is
example.
very important. I mean, if and at this time, what is happening around the world, and if we can find that people that they can talk to each other, they can know each other. I mean, and they can trust each other. I think that we will have a better world all around. So,
Exactly. Even Israeli organizations, like Heroes for Life, Israelis, they are actually working. They're training backpackers, and they're doing this kind of public diplomacy and people to people diplomacy, so that these people can go other country, meet with the local people, and just brand their nations the positive image of Israel. So people should know how good Israel is, how good Jewish culture is, so that these people, they are working with Tikkun Olam, which is the Jewish thought, like, to make the world a beautiful, so that people live in a beautiful world. So in that way they are working in different villages in Himachal, with the community working. They are teaching local students, painting the villages houses, cleaning the things, all those things they are doing to help the community to make the world really beautiful. So this concept, I think everybody should know when they talk, when they mix. That is the, I think, beauty of intercultural communication, and that's the beauty of people to people diplomacy, which is required for all kind of diplomatic strategy.
okay, well, Suchibrata Roy, Charles University in Czech Republic, and I would like to say thank you in the name of the German Jewish Museum, and also a coffee with Kevana. It was a great pleasure having you in this show. And for all the people that is watching our podcast, we'll travel to another place next week, and it will be very nice. So thank you very nice, Suchi. And this is your husband also calls you Suchi. So thank you very much, and guys, see you. Bye bye now.
Thank you so much. See you again. Bye bye.